So tuning in to the felt sense of the ground underneath the body. The weight of the body, the bones of the legs, the bones of the arms, and the weight of the pelvis, the heavy structure of the pelvis. And at the other end of the spine, the heavy structure of the skull. And in between, the wide structure of the rib cage. So these three areas of weight, bone and density, lending themselves to your awareness in order to access the sensation of gravity, the effect of gravity on the body. Noticing where the body comes into contact with the ground, all those points of contact. And from that place of heaviness, continually unfolding that sense of weight, the breath can begin to be felt more explicitly inside that container of density. There is this expansion of inner space that is offered to us by the in-breath. Space coming in, and as we exhale, space getting smaller, weight getting heavier. So it's all about tuning into the felt sense in the first instance. And the breath. Sensing the flow of breath coming in. And the river of breath flowing back out into the ocean of space surrounding you. And then we're bringing the knees in, bending one knee at a time, just sliding the heel up to the groin, rolling over the edge of the foot into the sole of the foot. So this is neutral position, constructive rest position. Can be nice to do this with a belt around the thighs so that the legs don't have to hold themselves up. And therefore, when the legs are supported by the barrier of the belt, the hip flexors can switch off a little. Deep hip flexors always so often working in a standing position. So we want to give those a chance to relax. And even though we're not supported by the belt here, by offering some somatic imagery, we can encourage there to be a very, very subtle sense of letting go of tension deep in the hip sockets. So imagining those thigh bones, long bones of the thighs, dropping down, flowing down from the knees into the basin of the sockets of the hips. Just imagine the head of the bones of the thighs gently resting down in place inside the curved shape of the hip socket, settling in, down, dropping, being held. Right up there at the top of the thigh bones, a sense of containment and holding in the hips. Then you can then begin to bring your awareness to the point of contact between the back of the skull and the floor. With every exhalation, sensing the weight of the skull dropping and also softening, the point of contact becoming softer between the back of the skull and the ground. And at this point, because I don't have a belt around my knees, I'm going to extend my legs out a little bit once again, just to let go of any tension in the hips while I begin with the skull. So breathing in and allowing as you exhale the weight of the skull to sink, and just increase the pressure through the back of the skull. So you press the back of the head into the ground and then you release. You do that several times. Pressing and releasing. You can notice the subtle adjustment of what happens to the head because of this action. Pressing, chin comes in, back of the neck lengthens. And the chin floats away from the sternum as you release. And then we're beginning to roll the head really slowly from one side to the other. Rolling across the back of the skull, there is a sense of soft tissue massage through the fascia, the connective tissue, the web of tissue around the whole body of the skull gets massaged and begins to release. And we're moving really slowly, imagining that the skull is like a bowl of water, containing liquid, and we don't want to spill any as we move the bowl of the skull. Keeping the liquid soft and calm, the surface, like the surface of the lake, or the surface of the water in a bowl of liquid, as you gently roll it, keeping it kind of level inside the bowl and also undisturbed, not splashing or rippling, just a smooth surface. Ordinarily, I'd probably go slower than that with that practice, really slow. Now bringing our awareness to the tip of the nose and just beginning to draw the infinity symbol with the tip of the nose in the space above the face, so the number 8 on its side. And this makes the location of the soft tissue massage more acute, more accurate, more local to one specific part of the back of the skull. And just noticing any tension releasing through the face and the jaw. Going with that, letting it happen. And having lovely long moments of doing nothing. Just pausing and breathing. And then I'm going to slide my legs back in again. Bring my awareness to the flow of breath, to the journey of the breath as it comes in the body, down into the belly. And there's an expansion of the belly, and as the breath goes out, space is created in the abdomen. Content of the belly sinks back into the belly, but drops with the weight of the out-breath, the weight of gravity. The content of the belly drops into the back body. And on the next inhalation, as the breath comes in and the belly expands, we begin to roll from the top of the back of the sacrum towards the bottom tip, the tailbone of the sacrum. Move the pressure of the ground against that structure of the sacrum from the top down the bottom so that the back arches. There's a little gap between the lower back. Lift my arms up to show you. And then on the exhale, releasing, letting go, content of the belly dropping into the back body, and then we press a little into the feet to bring the lower back into the earth so that the pelvis begins to tilt. And we've rolled the weight right up to the very top of the back of the sacrum, where the lower back meets the pelvis. And we're breathing in and releasing, you just release that and it rolls through the back of the sacrum to the front, spine curls, so as you exhale, spine curls into the earth, melts into contact. And if you go really slow, this movement has its own kind of rhythmic pulse, which echoes that of a wave. And so the whole of your vertebral column begins to undulate, mobilize through this transference of kinetic activity that passes up through the vertebra, down through the vertebra. But all of it's initiated by this heavy structure of the pelvis. So because the pelvis moves, the spine moves. Because my pelvis tilts the other way, it pushes my spine up. And you can see, if you allow the movement to ripple all the way through the spine, it affects the neck. The neck is part of the spine, the cervical spine. And the skull, because the skull rests on the neck. All those things are connected, interconnection. Movement passing through from one place in our body to another, affecting change. So as your pelvis tucks and the lower back melts and you exhale, the movement of the spine pushes the chin up towards the ceiling. And as you inhale, the pelvis tilts forwards and pulls the spine down. The movement and the contact between the back of the ground on the skull presses the chin in towards the sternum. So this is your arching curl. breathing, moving. Working with that craniosacral connection. Two ends of the spine where lots of nerve endings gather. And information passing through the spine between those two places. Lots of information. Good. And then I'd have a resting pause here. Noticing the felt sense. And then drawing the knees back in. We're going to come into the pelvic clock. So imagining the back of the facing of your pelvis to be like a clock face. With 12 at the top of the sacrum and 6 at the bottom, 3 and 9 on the sides. And I'm going to roll from 12 around in a clockwise direction, sensing that my pelvis is spreading, shifting, bringing contact into each and every number on the clock face without missing a number out. So rolling around in that lovely, well-distributed circle. You can do that for as long as you like, and then going back in the other direction, anti-clockwise. So that's the pelvic clock. And finally, I'll take you through the flower. So I'm going to let my knees rest in. Take a deep breath in. And as I exhale, lower back melts into the ground, press the feet in, and I'm going to roll my arms in. Everything is in, knees dropping in, shoulders dropping in, and because you roll your arms in, they have to lift off the floor. The chin sticks up to the sky, and it's this really clunky, funky, clumsy, awkward position. And then, as I release in the other direction, I roll my arms out, and I begin to tilt and arch my open, wide, rolling my arms as far as I can go. My chin is naturally drawn close to my sternum, and then exhale, rolling in. Inhale, rolling out. Exhale, rolling in. And inhale, rolling out. So we're going to the two extremes of our capacity in this position. Through the frontal planes of the body, through the posterior planes of the body. Building on the arch and curl we used to. So the arch and curl undulation is the foundation for this flower exercise. Taking our body through a range of motion to experience what it's like. So the body knows what it feels like to be totally hunched up here with the shoulders crunched and complete cramping at the back of the neck. Not the sensation of, but the shortening of the back of the neck. But always inviting people to do only what feels pleasant and easy. And so if there is a pain that arises that's uncomfortable, like a very clear pain, then we invite people to do less, to not go as far. Like I'm doing here. Because then their body will learn that it's safe to be here. And they will naturally, gently begin to ease nanomillimeter by nanomillimeter into a zone that they don't normally go to, thereby beginning to expand their range of motion. But mostly, for most people, this is just very, very relaxing. Experiencing the ease, the places of ease, and the places of tension. Places of tension don't have to be scary places. When we feel totally autonomous over our experience, we can pause and stop at any time. And if a little bit of self-soothing is required, one hand to the belly, one hand to the heart center. Being with the self. Or, for example, alternatively, rolling onto the side in a fetal position, a safe curled position. Perhaps that would be an option, which your students are welcome to choose at any point during the session.